is a multi-fuel stove. The difference between a multi-fuel stove and a wood burner, right, it's quite simple, it's that grey.
Right, okay.
That's the difference between the two. You can burn manufactured coal in it, and you can burn wood, right? If it was a wood burner, you'd only be able to burn wood in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the difference between a multi-fuel and a wood burner. Because you've got a multi-fuel, what you've got in here is you've got the grate, you've got an ash pan, okay, and you've got a handle for the ash pan. So that literally goes in through there, collects any ashes. What's really important is when you come to empty this, it doesn't want to be hot.
Right.
Because depending what you're going to put it in, right, my stepson, bless him, done exactly this and put it into a black bag.
Right.
Common sense.
Yeah.
There you go. It's really quite simple. So, with regard to the two types of fuel that you can burn in here, you've got wood and you've got solid manufactured coal. Okay, you can't burn and you can't get natural coal anymore.
No.
It's not good to burn in these things.
I've seen bags down at the garage.
Yeah.
Like smokeless coal.
That's it, yeah, in little briquettes.
Yeah.
So the difference with wood burns from the top down,
Yeah.
and coal burns from the bottom upwards. Okay, so that's the grate here. This lever here on the left hand side is your primary air supply. Okay, that's predominantly for burning coal.
Right,
Okay, or manufactured solid coal. This one here on the right hand side is your secondary air supply, and that's for basically burning wood.
Right.
Okay, that's how you manage it with these. So, and then on this left-hand side, you've got a little knob here, and all that does is it turns what's called this riddle plate
Yeah.
in
See
here.
that.
Okay, so whenever you're doing any kind of burning, you want to keep some ash in there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really important. Wood burns really well on ash, a bed of ash. And the other important thing to remember with the ash, so the very things that you put in here, wood or manufactured coal, will create some soot, some staining on the front of the glass. Okay, so in order to clean that, what you do is you get a damp rag, dip it in the ash, make sure there's no bits of grit in it, and then just wipe it nice and gently over the glass, and then use a dry cloth.
All right.
That's
With the ash.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's self-cleaning. The very stuff that it creates
Yeah.
actually cleans it off. That's it. That's the only time you'll ever use a damp rag on this. Otherwise, all you do is use a dry rag, or as I said to you yesterday, some WD-40. Right, once it's cool, because obviously the propellant inside the WD-40 will ignite it. And the last thing you want to be doing is holding that character going, happy days. Okay, so what I'm going to do, if you understand the basics of what you've got there,
I've got the
it's
chest.
really quite simple, isn't it?
Video in it to send.
Yeah, he's going to video it, so it'll go over to Marina. Okay, so what?
Sorry, can you put like a couple of lumps of coal and a
Yeah,
log
yeah,
of wood
you
on
can.
top?
Yeah, you can. I've done it at home. It can ruin the liner.
Right.
Okay, if you're not burning it correctly. Okay, because obviously there's a lot more moisture content in the manufactured coal.
Right.
So
Okay.
what I like to do is get the coal up to temperature, right, bit of kindling, get it up to temperature so it's glowing, and then put wood in,
And then-
introduce wood into it afterwards.
Yeah, get the coal
Because
going first.
then you've got the heat coming from the manufactured solid fuel. That's providing heat in there, and then the embers alone will ignite.
Ignite the wood, yeah.
Okay, so what's really important with regard to timber or wood, you should not burn. This is good, clean, ready to burn fuel. Excuse me.
What about the kindling sticks you would buy down at the garage?
Well, yeah, you can buy kindling. So what you don't want to be burning is any kind of wood that's got paint, varnish,
Oh, yeah.
or it's been treated.
Mm.
Okay, so
Clean natural, yeah.
so it can't be tannalised. This is just clean, natural hardwood. This is so.
Yeah.
What we do is we just split it up. Okay. What's really important to understand about this is if you put this here, right, once that timber gets up to about 240 degrees centigrade, it will start to release gases.
Right, okay.
And it's those gases that ignite. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you've already got a flame in here and you've got timber by the side of it, when it gets up to 240 degrees centigrade, it's going to ignite.
Combust, yeah.
Exactly that, okay? And it's got more than enough oxygen in this property for it to go well.
Yeah.
So, with regard to this stove, it said, the manufacturer says no combustible materials, 600 mil to the size. Now, effectively, it's inside this chamber,
Yeah.
okay? But heat being heat, if you store that there, at some point, yeah. So the thing about ready to burn timber, that's got a moisture content between 12 and 20%, and that's ideally what you should be burning.
Yeah.
If it's got a moisture content of above 20%, what you're trying to do is you're trying to dry it out first. So as you're doing that, that's going to create more creosote, more tar. It's going to go up, it's going to stick on a cold liner.
Yeah.
And then if you repeatedly do that, what's going to happen is at some point you get ignition inside your chimney liner.
Right.
Okay? And then you've got a fire on there.
Yeah.
And you don't want that.
No, that's not good.
Because it'll be fire brigade coming out. And there was a case recently, a couple of years ago, in Emmerdale Road in Weymouth. Effectively, he had his stove fitted 2 days later, not actually the installer's fault, but they had a flue line fire. Now, the fire brigade took 7 hours to try and put it out. Right, then they couldn't do it, so they had to pull it out through alive.
All right.
Yeah, so the
Not good.
local lad, I know him, but he's asked us to do an install for him. I haven't got round to it yet, but we'll do. So effectively, what we need to do with regard to the stove, this stove comes out, the paint has not been baked onto it. Okay, so what they basically the manufacturer wants you to do it. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to set 3 fires inside of the stove of about 1 kilo of wood. So effectively, we'll start a fire, heat it up, get it going, and then let it cool down completely. And then do another 1 kilo, let it cool down completely, and then do another kilo of wood, burning that, and let it cool down completely. Then you're good to actually set proper fires in it.
Okay.
If you try and do it without doing what the manufacturer recommends,
Yeah.
what you'll do is you'll set it, you'll have a great fire going in there, but you'll blister the paint on the stove.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
it
got
just
that on us.
totally ruins it
Mm.
then. So it's 5 kilowatt, it will heat this area more than plenty, okay? And the fact that you've got an extra 500 mil of flue pipe there, that will give you a 0.5 kilowatt of extra heat. So effectively you've got about 5.5 kilowatts of heat coming off this. Plenty of room around the chamber for air to circulate. So once you've heated this box up, you want to keep it around 240 degrees centigrade. So you'll just toppen it up then, okay? And it will just keep going all the way through. What you shouldn't do is try and slumber, okay?
Right.
Slumbering overnight is not a good thing because you'll end up, a lot more smoke will go up through the chimney. So effectively to slumber, what you do is you shut these right down.
Right.
If you shut them right down, you're only going to have about 15% of the air going in through from the DEFRA stop, where the DEFRA stop is. So that remains open. If you see this tertiary and secondary air control, it will not go all the way in.
Yeah.
That's factory tech. You can't change it. You're not supposed to.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
That allows air to keep going up through. You can actually hear the wind going over the top.
Yeah, I heard that
Cars
yesterday. Yeah.
pulling it up through. We've already done a smoke test on it, so we've tested the seals on the door, on the glass, around the collar, and up through the flue pipe. Okay, then we pushed the valves in. We had valves pushed in for 30 seconds, opened them up, and it just flew straight up through.
Alright.
So I know it's safe. In by your consumer unit, I put a data plate. Okay, that's got all the relevant information should you have a problem with regard to a chimney fire or some other issue where it's carbon monoxide coming out. If you do have a fire, with regard to, it's something really quite important here, I do need to say, your register plate does not have an access door on it.
Yeah.
Okay, because you've got a solid piece of concrete up there.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's absolutely no point in me putting an access door there because as soon as you
When
took
you
it
said
off,
anything like
you
that.
just be up to concrete. But I have put a rope seal around the edge, around there, to stop anything coming down through.
Okay.
So once a year you'll need it swept,
Yeah.
if not twice. Best to have it done twice, but just before the heating season gets going, sort of August time, something like that, you need to have it swept before you start heating, and also have service and maintenance. The other thing you really do need to do is inform your insurance company that you've had it fitted. Okay, that's really quite important. because if say for example, you try to make an insurance claim for damaged carpets, and the adjuster comes around and says, well, there's nothing on your policy about this stove. They could turn around and say, well, you haven't updated us about a really important change. Okay?
Right.
So when you come to refuel, just say for example, you drop something out onto the carpet, right? A bit of hot manufactured solid fuel goes onto the carpet, you go claim it, and they go, well, you never told us about this installed.
Yeah.
So it's more about protection and informing people. Most of them, it's not an issue. Do you know what I mean? On the data plate and on the testing commissioning form that I'll give you, and you'll need to sign it, I've gone through everything with you, will be my heat house ID, the company heat house number, my telephone number, all the relevant information. You'll get a copy of that, okay? And you keep that safe. In by consumer unit, I put a data plate in there, which says everything about the installation that we've got in here. So in the event that you had a chimney fire, what would happen is that if you've got a chimney fire and you know something's wrong, you come in, you shut both the valves down, and then get out. And then phone the fire brigade, they'd come over. The first thing they do is they go straight to the consumer unit, they look for my data plate, because it's part of building regulations.
Right.
Okay? And then, first of all, they put the fire out, and then they get in touch with me and say, right, what's happened here? It's got information on it, like the temperatures, where you can store combustible materials, the type of flue liner, etc., etc. So then they know how to take it out, because we do get tricky jobs where sometimes we'll go from a flexible flue liner to a twin wall, and it's not just a case of getting up on the roof and pulling it, because the actual flexible adapter is fixed to the chimney, because the chimney was beneath the roof.
Right.
Okay, so they get up and they go, "Wait a second, what we've got here." Then they're starting to take roofs apart.
Yeah.
And the last thing you want if you're taking a roof apart, if you're trying to put a fire out, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you need to know exactly what's
wrong.
been installed according to building regulations. Okay, so what I can do is I'll set up for 1 kilo of timber just to start the first burn for you. So, like I said, effectively what you've got in here is 1 kilo of timber, and all we're trying to do is actually get the paint cured onto the stove.
Right.
Okay? I'll just put that in there. Lighter. Lighter. These are the professional firelighters that we get. Unfortunately, you can't buy these, but I can supply them to you if you did want. I've also got a thermostat and right, so we'll go on to that again in a minute. So effectively all I've done is I've sat that on the top of that.
Yeah.
So when you come to light your first fire like that, if you just keep that door ajar, see how the wind, the air is being pulled into the chamber?
Yeah, I can see that.
There you go. If I just open it up, it equalises it.
Yeah.
I've done that very, very gently. So what you want to do is get this established. So just holding it ajar, it's only 10 mil, and you can see the air is being fed in through to it. So all I'm trying to do is get the fire established at this moment in time. Both the valves are closed down. Right, so once I shut that door, it actually does slow it down a bit. Then just open up the valve on the left hand side, which is main air supply, and open up the secondary, and you can see how they dance like.
Yeah, I see how that.
That's just the air coming in through the underside of the stove, that's all it is. So now that's established, I can actually close that one down. Then all you've got to do is use this one to control it. See how they drop down, the flames?
Yeah.
Just by giving it a little bit.
So once it's established, how does
Once it's established, you can close that one all the way down,
Yeah.
because that's going quite fine. And then this one, you can, if I close it right down, it will start to die down. It won't go out completely, but I just open it up a little bit and let it get established. Okay, so if you're going to burn, it's, I mean, you can sit there. This is also known as a tertiary. So as you look at it, you'll see the flame starting to dance, because what's happening is the air's coming from the underside, coming up over, and it actually starts to roll the flames towards the glass.
Right.
So if you put your hand there,
Oh yeah.
that's been going like
Well,
less than a minute.
yeah.
Okay, so obviously with that, there's a hell of a lot of draw. So I'm just going to close that down a little bit because I want the paint to cure on this one. I want it to cure on slowly, but that is established and going really, really well.
Yeah, that's
So
good.
effectively what we're going to try and do, the aim is to get it up to about 240 degrees centigrade, right, and then keep that box as it is at that temperature. What's really important now is obviously at this point in time you don't actually need to refuel, but at some point you're going to want to refuel it, okay? So there's no need to ever refuel that stove while those flames are going.
Right, yeah.
Okay? Because at the moment the air pressure inside there, you see how the flames are coming towards the front of the
Yeah,
door?
I see that.
If you open that door now, and I'm going to show you, and I'm going to be very gentle,
So,
right? It will want to, right, see that?
Yeah.
And I've only just released that door then, and I mean, that was probably a millimetre.
Yeah.
So the air permeability in there, and the jaw going up because the flue's heating up, is going to pull it. So now, if you open that door and pull it out, you're going to pull out what's inside there, out onto you. Okay, and then people do panic, and then you don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when it comes to refueling, we let the flames die right down, so it's just a bed of hot embers in there.
Yeah.
And then what we do is we open the door very slowly. So you open it and just let it in, and you'll see that it will still start to come out. Every time I try to open that door, the flames want to come out. So if you've got no flames, but you will have hot ashes in there, okay? So one of the reasons that I brought this half out so far, right, is a lot of manufacturers like the half to actually cover the open door. So if there's anything on that glass, it can only fall onto there
Yeah.
and not onto your counter.
Makes sense.
Okay, and it really is, it's common sense. Using this stuff is common sense. That will kill you and will burn your house down. It's really important.
Yeah.
So once that's burned down, okay, and it's just hot embers, you can actually put a piece of timber on, and I will do it for you just to show you. You can actually put a piece of timber on there and it will ignite it with no flames.
Right.
Just the sheer heat, because the moisture content in that timber is between 12 and 20%. What it will do is it'll heat it up very quickly, and then it will start to release the gases, and then that will give you the flame.
So
And it will be up
when you
again.
put a new piece on there, you keep the valves, the
Yeah,
things down there
yeah,
shut?
keep these shut, keep them fully shut. So when you come to open this door, shut them down,
There's
and that's it, because you're not giving it extra fuel, which is the air.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll just let that cool down, and then we go and open it, and we'll put another piece on just so you can see that this actually does work.
Yeah.
There's no panic. The one thing I want you to do is use it safely and economically, because for me, and I know a lot of customers don't like this, but for me, that's just, it's a can, it's there to heat.
Yeah.
That's it, and it's also there to be cost efficient. And then looking good is fantastic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we go to great lengths to try and make every installation good. But for me, it's about generating heat and making sure it's cost effective, because everything's getting expensive.
But that's it. Yeah. With the heat of the flue, would that sort of warm the rooms up?
Yeah. Well, you've got an extra. That length of pipe there is 500 mil, so that
Yeah.
will actually give you an extra half a kilowatt of heat.
Yeah.
So you've got 5 kilowatts being produced from that, and then extra half a kilowatt from that. So you've effectively got 5.5 kilowatts of heat
Yeah.
coming in there. So just to agree with that, if I open that up, you see the flame start to flicker.
Yeah, see that.
But what I don't want it to do at this moment in time is I don't want that to get too hot, because I'm trying to cure the paint onto the stove. So we need to do 3 of those to get it done. I am setting up something with all of my customers for the next heating season, so I'll be able to supply logs that are seasoned, that are good to go, and that'll be enough to keep you going for the winter, so you're not paying a fortune.
Okay.
Because the problem we're getting is more and more people are getting log burners and white fuel stoves. and then they can't get the wood. That's the problem, and then they're starting to burn pallets and all sorts of stuff. And if you do burn that kind of stuff, what will happen is you'll create more fumes, more smoke out into the environment, and if someone complains, then they'll get the environmental health involved, and they will shut you down. They can actually tell you to take it out.
That's all.
They give you a fine.
Anyway,
Yeah, they can give you a fine, and it'll be a big fine as well. People say, oh yeah, it's minimum 150 quid or 300 quid. If they want to, and you've been a nuisance, what they can come in is take a scrape from the underside of the stove or up in the liner, see what it contains, and if you've been burning some of the stuff you shouldn't have been doing, not only can they make you take it out, they can then give you a pretty hefty fine as well. So, you know, it's really important. So get it swept each year, get it serviced and maintained. But otherwise, that's pretty much it. It's, you know, if you're going to season your own wood, it needs to be externally in like a little shed, three-sided shed with a little roof on it, facing towards predominantly where the wind comes from, south-southwest.
Right.
So in here, it'd probably be best. That's east over there, and east over there, south-southwest.
Sort of over that way.
Yeah, even if you had it somewhere out here in the garden, over there.
Yeah.
Southwest is sort of over there, west southwest is coming through there. Don't worry too much about the outside. It's good to have three sides, and left hand side, right hand side, keep it up off the ground and have a little roof on it, right? Don't worry so much about the outside getting wet, because water won't penetrate all the way through, okay? And log length, about 8 inches will fit in there quite nicely,
Yeah.
okay?